Wilkinson. Can he produce a Joel Stransky drop goal to break the deadlock in this extra time, as South Africa did 8 years ago? Australia back from the dead in that last 60 seconds with Flatley's penalty goal to force it to extra time. Now it's 10 minutes each way.
And this is where the fitness that these players have been doing over the last 6 or 8 months comes to the fore. Extra time.
Accuracy so important in every facet of play. And it was a free-for-all in the line-out. Australia taking out their opposites. Jason Leonard is on the field, the world's most capped player. And taking the man out in the air, Justin Harrison. Wilkinson coming up for a shot.
Well, Johnny Wilkinson, as one would expect, going for this kick. Slight wind behind him. Will he have the legs? But there's still plenty more to go in this game. It's the old bull of England versus the young bull of the Australians. Who will last out this titanic battle?
The Royal Australian Mint produced a Rugby World Cup coin, a gold coin, and on it was a left-footed goal kicker poised to have a shot with hands together in prayer. It's not sudden death, it's 10 minutes each way. So we play out the next 20 minutes of extra time. If it's still level, then it becomes sudden death. Wilkinson has got the distance. Unbelievable! 17-14. Johnny Wilkinson, all of 50 metres, 4 from 5 for him.
Awesome from Johnny Wilkinson. How good is he? The pressure he's been under this week. 46, 47 metres into a slight breeze, puts England in front.
Well, we talked about Flatley doing that kick, having a heart of stone. I don't think that Johnny Wilkinson's got a heart.
Pinched away by Sterling Mortlock. Australia's chance now to hit back. Flatley called for it. Out wide is Cobain. Woodman took him head on. Joe Roff calling for it on the left. Huge pass. Phil Waugh somehow took it. He really did well to pull that one down. Advantage over here is Larkham in the last line of defence for Australia. Matt Dawson coming through. Nothing silly here. And heaving that one back over his left shoulder. But England up into the attacking zone, and they lead by 17-14, a 3-point advantage, just as they did with a minute to go.
Smart play by Matt Dawson. He knows where he wants to play this game. He's just popped that ball back over the top of his forwards and put England back on the attack.
Kay making sure of that one. And now Katz. Just caught by Cobain. Dalalio. Johnson supports. Roth was underneath. England. Woodman was out there. Threw it to no one. And now Greenwood. David Giffen around him. Bill Young comes away. And Andre Watson's hurt himself. He's on one leg at the moment. Watson struggling. So too England. Lucy back there. Watson saying slow it down, boys. I think he either trod on his foot or someone did. He's trying to stretch. Maybe he's suffering from cramp, Tim Horan.
Well, it's been a frenetic pace this first couple of minutes as Wilkinson tries to find touch and get the ball out of play, and he does.
And the happiest person to have that in a touch is Andre Watson.
Big run, Mike Catt. Came onto the field in place of Tyndall and taken over his role. Great offload to Dalalio, and Dalalio showed the patience. And then there became a turnover and Joe Roth slipped in the ground. And England back on attack.
Jeremy Paul now. And David Giffen beautifully. Larkham. Mortlock. Flatley was a decoy as he ran wide. Australia through Rogers now. Haven't seen a lot of him in the second half, but he makes 8 metres for his team. Now Smith, putting it straight onto his boots. Turnover for England, and it was lost there. Player leaving his feet, penalty Australia. Problems here for Lucy. He fell heavily and awkwardly. 17-14 in extra time here at Telstra Stadium. England by 3.
There's a couple of fellas over the ground at the moment. Alistair Baxter just getting some running repairs, a bit of a cramp. He hasn't played a lot of football throughout this tournament. He'll be feeling it.
Ian Bullshaw set to take the field.
And Matt Giteau back on and Larkham off.
Giteau's on for a blood bin, it seems. I don't think they'd be replacing Stephen Larkham yet after his drop goal in the semi-final in 1999 in extra time.
Well, that man Giteau, they've spoken about him. He's raw, he's young, he's not known by the English, he's got plenty of talent, you don't know what he can do.
Josh Lucy hobbles off, Ian Bullshaw is on. Looks as though Robinson will go to fullback and Bullshaw onto the right wing.
Who would have thought Australia with their backs against the wall coming into half-time are now here in extra time.
It's about self-belief for this Australian team as Giteau sends it wide. Cobain went without it. Lost ahead by England. Mike Catt couldn't hold on. Have to be a knock on both ways.
Sterling Mortlock didn't want to take that ball. He saw the defence of it, the England backline moving up into his face. The turnover.
Andre Watson has said that it was actually a knock on by the English. Still Australian ball, they're still alive.
First knock on by England. Giteau and Flatley. Smith couldn't pick up. Then he lost ahead. And Gregan just steadies it down. Australia really needed to keep it cool there.
And that's coming from the pressure of the English scrum. Australians going backward, and George Smith, who's playing at number 8 now at the back of the scrum, just couldn't handle the slippery ball.
Jason Leonard on, renowned scrummager for the England team.
Good scrum by Australia, bringing it up on the side to give Phil Waugh a good shot.
Wilkinson on his right boot. Takiri back here with Rogers in support. Joe Roth coming back as well. And Rogers safely taking play back to the halfway line, but 2.5 minutes now before the interval. We'll have a 5-minute break and then another 10 minutes of extra time.
Matt Rogers making sure of his touch finder. I want to give Jason Robinson room to move. One of the best counter-attackers in the game. And Rogers making sure, especially in this last 40 minutes, that he's finding touch.
Here's Dawson. And Katz! Brilliant timing. And again, it was a great tackle by Matt Cobain. He's pulled off a couple of excellent tackles as England go wide for Bullshaw. Takiri takes him. Now Delalio. Australia with plenty of cover there. England looking for another score before this interval in extra time. Neil back, leaves it for Dawson. Wilkinson on the left. Ben Cohen, Australia's defence, holds its line.
This is where Australia has to be disciplined.
Drop goals on for Mike Catt. Charged down by Justin Harrison, and Phil Waugh has it.
Unfortunately, when the charge down went, it ricocheted off automatically. Phil Waugh's put his hand out. We see the go for the drop goal. Harrison puts his hands up, it reflects off him, hits Waugh and gets knocked forward. It's still England's ball, 22 metres out, hot on attack.
And the drop goal's also a potential scoring situation here with a strong England scrum.
Hasn't Mike Catt pressed himself when he's come on this field so far? He's had a great impact.
Wilkinson to Catt. Brilliant tackle by Gregan. Left foot shot from Johnny Wilkinson. And Phil Waugh was up there quickly.
Wilkinson, he knows how important it is in this extra time to put points on the board. Only 30 seconds left in this half of the extra time. Wilkinson, a little chip away, veered off to the left-hand upright. Good pressure, Australia.
Just 20 seconds or so before the interval in this extra time. This is Balshaw. Harrison's out here. He took him well. And over the touchline. And the crowd on the far side enjoyed it. Justin Harrison suffering from cramp.
Balshaw saw some space, but Harrison closed it down quickly. Andre Watson calling for play to continue as Harrison's down on the sideline.
This will be the last play before the break. And that one going off the side of the boots. Andre Watson says we'll have half time. It's a 5-minute break. It's England ahead in extra time. Another 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes of extra time to go. England enjoying a 3-point lead. They're watching in Swaziland at the Glen Rand Stadium. A big screen. And also at Birdsville at 50 degrees at the moment. Sub-zero at Casey Station in Antarctica. The heat here at Telstra Stadium, though, is white hot. The Richter scale is off the meter.
This is where Australia have to be clinical. They must win their set pieces.
For me, I feel really Australia have to start chancing their arm now. They're down in the territory. They can build the phases. Australia win the line out.
Gitto wides. Flatley to Takiri. England with 3 defenders waiting, but Australia clean out well. Gregan quickly to Smith. Will Greenwood throws him to ground with a shoulder throw. Cobain's pass picked up by Young. Little knock on, said Andre Watson.
There was no halfback for the Wallabies. George Gregan wasn't there in time.
This is where the fatigue will start setting in. These players will be virtually out on their feet. When fatigue sets in, the mind starts to go. When the mind goes, they start to make mistakes.
Dawson has a look back at Gregan, who's not even bothering to follow the ball round, which he's entitled to do. Wilkinson, again, in behind the Australian right wing. Lottie Takiri is back there. Now Robinson with a quick throw to himself. It's only got to go in 5 metres. And Australia wrap him up. Takiri was one of them. 8 minutes remaining. Mike Catt still in the ruck, so he can take his time. And it's back for Dawson. Greenwood with low body height. 10-metre line, Australian territory. England just happy to play rugby league at the moment. Now Catt. Tried to offload, it was a bad decision. Australia back in possession. Knock on both ways.
Well, it was a good opportunity too for the Wallabies to counter-attack off that turnover. Mike Catt looking for the offload. George Smith getting his hand in the way.
And a cramp for Justin Harrison. England 17-14 in the second period of extra time. And Matt Dunning coming on for Bill Young.
What a great experience for this young man. He's played one game in the World Cup. That was his debut. This is his second.
Matt Dunning in the white headgear for Australia, on for his second test match. He played against Namibia, but this one multiplies about 25 times as Gregan gets it over halfway. Takiri's coming through. And Australia will get a line-out throw.
Quick thinking, George Gregan, as Richard Hill goes down with cramp. Richard Hill did well to slide on the ball. Gregan knew he was covered and just slid it in behind Ben Cohen to allow Takiri to come through and put England under pressure.
Stephen Larkham coming back onto the field for Australia after another visit to the sin bin. Gitto off.
Well, he's been off to the blood bin twice in this game, Stephen Larkham. He's back on now, and Gitto's done well since he's been on, but Stephen Larkham needs to be on the field for the last 7 minutes for the Wallabies. Look at him directing play, calling exactly what they have to do on this play.
Lewis Moody coming on for England now. Richard Hill had cramped up there. Will he be the man to depart?
Yes, he is, and Andre Watson is making sure that England don't slow the game down. Australia want to lift up this pace.
And also making sure they haven't got 16 men. Moody gets the ball immediately.
Crucial turnover.
Wilkinson. But Takiri was waiting for this one. And Matt Rogers. Sending it over halfway. And England with the line-out throw on the 10-metre line.
Doesn't the time tick away quickly when you're playing extra time? Already there's only 6.5 minutes left in this World Cup final. Clive Woodward, he wants to be out there.
Here comes Dunning. Flicked it back. Bit of soccer skill there from Matt Dunning. Now Australia and Larkham out wide to Mortlock. Rogers here and Takiri. He got the first try. Robinson stayed with him. And Wilkinson back in possession. Jason Robinson doing a grand job in defence.
Desperation from England's defence. Takiri wanted to take them on out wide. Perfect pass from Stephen Larkham. Look at that, right out in front of Mortlock. Mortlock again in front of Takiri. Takiri taking on Robinson, but Ben Cohen comes across and helps out.
But you've got to put that down to Dunning. He's been on the field only a couple of minutes. He's swooped onto that ball, his second test, and it's an extra time in a final. He can't believe it, but Australia need this line out.
5.5 minutes remaining in the second period of extra time. Larkham wants it. Mortlock's in as the first receiver. It's right out in front of the goalposts. Here's Stephen Larkham wanting to link up. Out here is Takiri. He just ran out of options there. Now Jeremy Paul, taken by Johnson. Australia only 12 metres out here. Takiri wasn't supposed to get that one. But the Wallabies maintaining possession. England's defence spread right out. Man on man here, and Gregan has a gap. As David Giffen just takes it ahead.
Australia got to head towards the post. Head back in field in case there is an infringement.
George Smith, solidly met by Neil Back and Martin Johnson, the two old soldiers. Larkham now, Rogers! Just taken. Greenwood again, not held in, yes he was held in the tackle. Then he got up. Greenwood was the man who took him low. Once you're tackled and held, you have to release it. Rogers felt he wasn't held, and that's why he went on with it.
Is that the turning point of this match? Matt Rogers being tackled, he didn't think he was held, got up and played on. Andre Watson thought otherwise.
I think Andre Watson was right. I think he's actually gone to the ground. It was still in the motion of moving, but he was actually held. Look at him go to the ground there, held. And then he's got back up again as Greenwood's actually let go of his tackle.
But once again, that man Greenwood has been outstanding tonight in his defence. Look at Martin Johnson. He wants this World Cup.
Neil Back down on the loose ball. He'll take over the captaincy of Leicester. And Australia now with a penalty attempt. In discipline on 2 counts by England.
And it was by the captain himself in Martin Johnson, and surprise, surprise, George Gregan is going for the points.
Andre Watson very pacific about what's happened in the ruck. Elton Flatley, he steps up again for the second time in this game to level it up.
What drama? 17-14. England getting their noses in front through the Johnny Wilkinson penalty. And now Elton Flatley, with the weight of the nation on his 26-year-old shoulders.
Well, if this was a Hollywood script, it'd be a blockbuster bestseller.
And Andre Watson just telling the trainers to take Ben Kay, who's split, to the sideline to fix up his problems, so they get out of the vision of Elton Flatley, who yet again has the pressure of a nation on his shoulders.
Front page of the Daily Telegraph this morning, a picture of Josh Flatley in Dad's headgear, and the headline was "Live the Dream." The 4-year-old Josh Flatley watching in the stand as Dad lines it up to level the scores, if successful. Straight as a die. 17-all.
You can see the determination on Elton Flatley's face. Eddie Jones now knows a couple of minutes left and territory will be the key for the Wallabies and the English side.
If the scores are tied at the completion of extra time, we'll have a 5-minute interval and then a further extra time period shall be played. And that will be sudden death.
And that'll be 10 minutes of pure hell.
10 minutes of sudden death after a 5-minute break. And that looks to be the way we're heading, unless England gets a late opportunity here.
Tim Horan, what do you think here? Do you think England will go for the win and Johnny Wilkinson will slot it?
They will set it up. They'll go midfield. Wilkinson will set it up here and he'll wait for his opportunity.
Cat absolutely monstered.
He's back now behind the pocket. Wilkinson, he's waiting.
Waugh and Smith ready to sprint. And Dawson goes himself. He fooled everyone. Wilkinson still in position here. This is England's chance. Back is there. Australia come through. Martin Johnson and England staying composed here. Wilson still in place for the drop goal. Australia come back. Here it is for Johnny. Has he done it? He sure has. Heartbreaker for the Wallabies. Seconds remaining, and that surely is the stairway to rugby heaven for England.
Sensational. Johnny Wilkinson off his right foot, his unfavoured right foot, 3 points. Woodward thinks he's got it. Look at Wilkinson, his composure. He knew it as he hit it.
Woodman takes it. Time almost up, seconds remaining. The player of the tournament, Johnny Wilkinson, has snatched it away from the Wallabies. Is this it? And England has joined Sir Alf Ramsey's Immortals of 1966. A true gladiator. Before him, David Kirk, Nick Farr-Jones, Francois Pienaar, John Eales, and now Martin Johnson.